Don't expect former President Donald Trump to pair any Bud Light with his preferred meal of McDonald's Filet-O-Fish and Big Macs. On Sunday afternoon, Trump joined the masses by announcing his disapproval of the marketing efforts behind Anheuser-Busch's Bud Light DYLAN Mulvaney collaboration. At the same time, has not surprised by the backlash surrounding the suds. You don't have to read between the lines to understand that Trump blames the radical left for Bud Light's disaster. A disaster that's left would-be consumers with bitter beer face and Bud Light sales dropping quicker than Biden's approval rating. It's time to beat the radical left at their own game. Money does talk, and Anheuser-Busch now understands that. Trump wrote via Truth Social. Trump continued his post by promoting the Great Patriot Protest and Boycott book. Great new book by Wayne Allen Root. Buy your copy today. The book Trump referenced describes itself as the winning game plan to fund conservative, patriotic Christian companies and defund leftists' woke companies. I can't confirm this as fact, but am willing to bet neither Bud Light nor DYLAN Mulvaney are mentioned within the book's pages as a part of said winning game plan. Unless, of course, this book is one of those what not to do guides. We've said it before and we'll say it again. Get woke, go broke. Most of America knew this already, and their wallets have backed up this same stance. Trump clearly knows it too. Now, Bud Light is finally realizing as much. Anheuser-Busch missed the perfect opportunity to align with a new spokesperson in Trump. Who better to tell their former marketing firm, "You're fired"? Then again, you can't blame them. If anything, Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch continuously displayed their inability to read the room. Otherwise, they'd have acted sooner once it was apparent that their sales were as flat as their beer, even though they still haven't come out and directly apologized, not only to their base but women in general. Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch has somehow managed to piss off the left. Yep, you read it right. The same company that's been the subject of massive boycotts throughout the country, largely from the right, has now angered the woke mob because they haven't supported DYLAN Mulvaney enough through these hard times, who had 1 month on their bingo card. In case you were still sleeping off your Cinco de Mayo bender this morning, gay bars in Chicago are now banning Bud Light. A few hundred miles to the east, and law check activists claimed Bud Light will go extinct over their decision to not fully back Mulvaney. Extinct. As far as marketing, I hope and think they realize that as a brand they will be extinct in a few years if they are not fully on the side of equality, as that is what the Gen Z consumer expects and demands. Stacey Lance, co-owner of New York's famous Stonewall Inn, told Newsweek, "No, that's not what the Gen Z consumer expects and demands. But whatever, not the sane ones. Anyway, I won't go off on that tangent. Though, I don't have the time and I have a Kentucky Derby to watch." Back to Chicago for a minute, where a new Bud Light boycott unfolded overnight Thursday. The Bears Tavern Group, which owns 4 gay bars in the area, slammed Anheuser-Busch for dropping its support of Mulvaney and banned Bud Light, Busch Light and Goose Island 312 from all its bars. That, of course, was in response to Anheuser-Busch CEO Michael Dowkers doing his best to distance the brand from Mulvaney earlier this week. Distance, of course, being the key word there. Remember, there's been no actual admission of wrongdoing from Anheuser-Busch yet, just subtle hints, like firing woke executives, giving out free beer and using buzzwords like misinformation. As I wrote this week, that's the closest Bud Light will ever come to fully apologizing, because pulling that sort of 180 would stoke the mob. And, if we've learned anything in 2023, you simply cannot stoke the mob. I miscalculated. Though, it's not good enough to simply put DYLAN Mulvaney on a can. You have to fully embrace the transgender movement, and if you don't fully commit, you're just as bad as the rest of us. If Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch didn't realize that before, they're about to find out. Anheuser-Busch's decision to drop its support of Mulvaney in response to ignorant and hateful objections by some of its customers shows how little Anheuser-Busch cares about the Latkia community, and in particular transgender people, who have been under unrelenting attack in this country. To Bear Tavern added in a statement, "Unrelenting attack? That's a new one. They've missed an opportunity to stand by their commitment to the trans community by pandering to and giving into transphobic outcries." And owner Stacey continued, "So, yes, Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch have now managed to piss off the right and the left. This was the predictable next step.